cone game. Cone game is a great game for confidence building. The dog's nose, it's their most sensitive sense. So if they are putting that into a cone or a beaker or a yogurt pot, that takes a bit of confidence. It might also be going close to their eyes, and it's also a great way of introducing muzzles in a positive way. So they're getting used to something touching their muzzle and them choosing to put their head into something. It doesn't have to be a cone. This game could also be yogurt pot, any object, and of course it also can be a muzzle. When you switch in different objects, including the muzzle, they're just as excited. They don't see this as anything other than a positive thing to stuff their nose into. To start off with, what we're going to do is we're going to teach a hand touch, which if people haven't done that before, the way that I would start is by having a piece of food in one hand, and I would have your hands at nose height to Bella, so that your hands go on either side of her head, and then the hand without the food, I would just pop it out as a flat palm. Yes, good. And this is a good troubleshoot. So pop your hand away. All she did was just not get the piece of food, and go back down again with the flat of the hand. And reset her. So when dogs get a bit stuck, like she's sat, and this is a really good example of when they're sat still, they can kind of overthink things. So I would give her the release cue, the kind of the reset. I would go break, throw a piece of food just over her head, and then as she comes back towards you, pop your hand out really quickly and maybe leave the other hand just out of the way. Yes, good. And just mark that looking at the hand. That's all we're marking right now. Yay, good girl. Very clever.
Good girl.
And maybe just shuffle back a foot so that she has to move to you. Yeah, she is getting it, but movement's good. So I kind of want her to be off her bottom if we can get her moving. She's creeping. She thinks she wants an SIT. Throw the piece of food again. This is really good troubleshooting for people to see, because some dogs will play this like this. The cone, in effect, is going to replace your hand. So you're just going to place it out. If she looks at it, takes a step towards it, you're just going to say yes and give her a piece of food.
Okay.
Yes, good, nice. And if anything, hold it slightly closer to you. We're going to see if actually give her a reset, because I would like her off her. I would like her moving, and pop it down just as she's taken a step towards you, but be really quick if we can to mark and reward before she goes into that SIT. Yay, good girl. Nice. That's all right, doesn't matter. She knew what we were doing. The hot dog says everything. Yay, good girl. Wow, she was actually popping her nose in it then, and we haven't got any food in there. The reason that I don't put food in there is because you can create a bit of conflict. So if they want the food but they're a bit worried about putting their nose into something, that's not a happy place to be. We want her to be choosing to pop her nose in there because it's a fun thing to do. So give her a little reset, throw away, and then pop it down at nose height as she's running towards you. Yay, good girl, really nice. And then what you can do is you can just swap in the muzzle, do exactly the same. Yay, good girl. Very nice. Good girl. And shuffle a bit to me. I just want to get her moving just ever so slightly so that she's coming towards you. Yeah, good girl. So this is very much about choice. What can happen with this game is if the dog is just looking at us a bit confused, she's like, I'm ready. We can be a bit kind of like, yeah, go on, stick your nose in it. And actually it does need to be all about choice. We do want them to be like, I want to put my nose in it, and have a real pleasure in that activity. Cycling through those different things, just creating real flexibility as to what she can do, and just all about confidence. And if anybody else's dog is doing that, my dog's very pawsy as well. The way to help try and get around it is, say this was her head, I would go sort of highish with the hand, and I would also be really quick to mark and reward before she gets the paw up. Yes, good girl. So she starts to understand it's this game, not that game.
Touch.
Yay, good girl. I'm going to present it as he runs towards me. Yes, good boy. And reward any interaction with the cone whatsoever. Yes. So he does know the game. So he obviously is trying to stick his head in it. Yes, good boy. It might be that your dog just looks at it because it wasn't there a minute ago. So I would start with it behind your back, pop it out. Yes, good boy. And reward them for just looking at it. You might want to swap sides. Did you find it? Yes, good boy. I'm not going to be moving towards him to put it on his face. You see, he doesn't want to do that. Whereas if I stick it out there and he chooses to, get it. Yeah. You see how he got really stuck because he was too close to me? Yay, good boy. Very nice. Oh, that fell on your bed. How did we do that? Yes, good. Very nice. And once they're confidently popping their nose in it, you can ask for repeated touch. No, we're not mouthing it. Yeah, okay, we'll take that. You can ask for repeated touches before you give them the piece of food. Ready? You kind of missed it, didn't you? Yay, good boy. He's working through it. Good lad. Ready? Yes. And again. Yay, good boy. That's a terrible throw. Yes, good boy. Very nice. So what I could do now is I could do a different object. I could use his muzzle. So anything at all, getting them used to stuffing their nose into objects happily for some treats or some of their dinner. Good lad.